Hello internet, I hope everybody can hear me okay. Just check my microphone here, it's nice. Okay, I think we're up and running okay. Looks like it, yeah. Hello everybody, hello. Hello people in chat, hello. If you want to say hello, now's a good time. Excuse me. First of all, it's really cold here. Like about a foot of snow has just fallen today. It's just crazy, so we might get power outage or anything, I don't know. Don't know if this will work or not, but if I suddenly disappear, that's why. It's just the power's gone out or something. It is very cold. I know some people out there on the internet will be sitting there with the sun cream on. Anyway. Did he? Hey! Hello, Rodney Bertie. What should I say, Chris? Yeah, well, it's ironic you should be here, Chris, because I don't know what the temperature is outside because I don't want to stick my head out there because it is freaking cold. But the reason I even started using Hitfilm was because of Rodney Bertie here, and he turned me on to it because of what he was managing to do with it with Movie and I looked at what he was doing and I thought, you know what, you're right. This is great. This can make a difference. So that's what this session is all about. So it's showing you how you can make a difference to your animation or movie or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what source you're coming from. Could be anything. But you can use Hitfilm and make it look better and nicer and looks like it's more expensive, as they say. Let's put that over there. So I've got 6 examples or 6 shots. I know there's 7 there, but I've got 6 shots and I'm going to basically go through them one at a time, and each one is more complex than the last in terms of what I'm doing to the effects and stuff, so it's meant for if someone's just new to Hitfilm and you understand, you know, composites, you know what they are, they just hold containers basically for footage, like that. So you've got the footage in there, that's all that contains, just footage. It can contain lots of other stuff, but basically it's a composite shot contains stuff. So we'll start off nice and simple. So this shot is just, I'm saying, you know, time to go. As he said, time to go. Or Ted, time to go. This is Warden, as voiced by Drico, actually. Telling Ted Bundy it's time to go. Now, the reason I picked this one to start with is because there's not an awful lot wrong with it. It's just not quite right in the mood, and also there's that. I had a hard time getting, it's a hard enough time getting models to work in movies in the first place, but getting one that's that nice, and then, you know, you discover bits you can't fix. And that was a bit I couldn't fix. So, rather than dump the phone, I just left it in and thought I'll fix it later. Fix it in post, as they say. And that's what, again, Hitfilm's all about. So the first thing to do, if you have a situation like that, because it's a static shot, you know, you don't have to do anything fancy to it or anything, you just need a wee patch there, just to fix that phone model, because it's a bit crap. So, easy enough, you go up to options, and you export the frame, and then you export it as a PNG file, usually. And the reason for that is obvious. Once you get that into Photoshop, you would, let me just grab this over here, I'll show you. Once you get that into Photoshop, you would then cut out everything else in the frame, or create a new layer, and then just create, you know, a little red patch for that bit of the model that's broke. Everything else is transparent, and that's all you need to do. And bring that in, and it should, famous last words, get that there. It should, organise my windows there, I should have moved that now, I have to reorganise everything. Sorry. So into this shot, we will import our media. Oh, where has it got? Let's go back to there. And we go to shots, go to tutorial, and there is our little PNG file. Open it up. Drag it over. And oh, underneath that, it's not going to work. On top, there we go. And there you go, it's just a little red patch. You can barely notice it. But it's enough to fix that so it doesn't draw your eye to the fact that that's broke. So you can't see it. So there you go, first thing fixed. And that's what you've got to do basically before you do anything to your shot, before you start thinking about panning in or moving about, or doing any fancy stuff, fix it first. First of all, just make sure everything's fixed 100% before you move on anywhere, if you can. What's the next thing you've got to do? Hang on a second, so let's just check my... Yeah, there we go. Nope, I'm moving. I should have moved that one window, it moved everything else. There we go. Right, the next thing, which is important, is the well, basically the kind of atmosphere of the shot. Really, it's a bit. This is him telling him it's time to go, and he's about to lead him into the execution chamber over here. You know, so it should be a bit more something. So where you're going to add a vig. I would recommend this as a good layout for general working and for when you're doing composite shots or even timelines in general. Just make the editor and you know, the timeline part here take up as much space that way as you can, because that's what's important. Effects and controls go over there, everything else over there, and that seems to work, and it keeps your view right in the middle as well, which I find helps. Yeah, part is a good trick. It's just, you do that a lot. I find myself doing that a lot, especially with static shots. If something's not right, I'll just go in and draw it, or draw over it, you know, in Photoshop, because it's just a static shot. It's not like you're getting film noise or anything like that, because it's an animation. So it actually makes it easier to fix things. And this is something else I found, is that Hitfilm really loves animation because it works so well with, you know, pure colour palettes, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, what it likes about animation so much, but it works really well, and it just picks up everything. But anyway, we are going to add a vignette, or as we call it, a vig, because that's what you type in to find it. So we already know the footage is at 1080, which I should have mentioned, but it is. So, and then we just drag that in. Now we can just drag it straight onto the layer like that and think, oh, that looks fine, and then move on. Don't do that. Never do that. Classic amateur mistake. Throw something on and then think, ah, that looks fine, move on. No, 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 no. Never ever do that. No. What you got to do is make it work better. Make your shot work better, and make it not obvious the fact that you even used a vignette. So let's break it down a bit and see, because what we want to do is we want to make him a bit more imposing. So we want to draw attention to him a bit more. You can do that with lots of ways. The easiest way is to turn up to begin with, and then you can mess with the curvature. You can get different effects depending on what you need. You can do a lot of stuff just with the vignette. Honestly, you can have it more. I mean, you can achieve a lot with this just one thing. You know, you get iris opening sort of effects and all kinds of stuff. But I just want to kind of focus more on him, so just get the shape right. Yeah, and maybe just do it because you can do it that way as well. It's good opening eye effect, you know, because you can also, anything that's got a wee circle next to it, you can animate. So that's pretty much everything in Hitfilm you can animate, and that's not just in the Pro version. That's in all versions. That's just the way it works. So what I'm going to do is get the shape I kind of want, and then drop it down to the kind of strength that I think looks suitable for the shot, just to help make him pop out of the shot a bit more by darkening these. It kind of gives you a more focused look. It's a simple thing, that's why vignette gets used so much, but it gets overused and abused, and you should always, if it's obvious you're using a vignette, you've done it wrong. Essentially, that's my opinion. If you can see it, no, that's not good. It should just be a suggestion, just like that. Next we've got effects. Well, next thing is this light here. This is a limitation of the game engine. I use Movie-Zoo. Movie-Zoo only uses Unreal 3, sorry. An Unreal 3 engine isn't capable of, I mean, it's okay lighting, but it's very simple. You can get a bit of bloom effect going, a bit, but that's it. and there's no reflections, there's no shinies, there's nothing like that. So we're going to have to fake that to make this glow a bit more. And I'm going to do that. Sticking a new grade on top of everything else, because remember it top down. And we're going to stick on a glow. Usually anything you need in here, you type it in and it's there on the list. I've got the Pro version, so I've got more effects, and that's really all. The main difference between Pro and non-Pro is all the extra effects you get, which just saves time because you can do it manually for most of it, and also the ability to import 3D models and Alembic files, so you can do animations and stuff. You can bring in like animated iClone characters or Blender characters into here, into the kind of the workspace. I'm working in 2D, but you can be working in 3D. Same thing. But I'm not going to. That's for a different tutorial. We're not going to do any of that 3D stuff today. We're just sticking to the simple stuff. So standard glow, stick it on there, and okay, that glows everything. So we have to use our masks. Masks are great fun. And to create a mask, it's dead easy in here. You just put a mask around where you roughly want it to go. Want it to overlap his face a wee bit. There you go. So we're now only glowing that wee bit that we masked off. Dead easy. Of course, it looks terrible because hard edge. So you go to your shape and you change your feather strength, which is just your softness of your edge. And the softer it is, the more it blends in. So there you go. And you can also change other things here, like whether it's going just out from there, it's feathering it, or is it inward? Actually, inward works better. Best way to work out what effect to use is play with them. Right. And just get it to where you kind of the shape you kind of want it to get the effect that you think it should have had in the first place. There you go. I like that it's overlapping his ears a wee bit. Gives the impression his ears are a wee bit less solid, which is good. I mean, you can put a red tint in there to try and, try and affect that kind of look. You can do all kinds of stuff. I mean, it depends on how long you want to spend on the shot. You can spend the rest of your life on one shot. Okay, but the glow itself does, no, it does this sometimes as well. You've got to refresh it to get it to, I don't know why it does that. Something to do with the masks. So you can also affect the glow itself. Just get that. Change the radius and stuff. A lot. Usually you'll find that all the effects in Hitfilm go from top to bottom in terms of how much effect they have. So when you're messing with them, just start at the top and work your way down, and then come back to the start again. So fill that out. There we go. And that's that looks, and that looks better. You can also always check you have improved things after you've done it. So we've got a bit more softness on there. You can also ramp it up a bit more with the glow. I've done that a lot as well to kind of make it bloom out. It just depends how much effect you want. Again, it's a stylistic thing. Because after all, I mean, the light's still there, it still works as a light, but it just works better if you can do stuff like that and just make it look more impressive. Hang on. No, hang on a second. I didn't read to that. Good. Oh. Sorry, I messed that one up. There you go. We'll leave that there. I've seen it. I was. Oh, there we go. Next thing. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to do this shot really was a stylistic thing, like I say, which was to do with my movie in general. Was the use of LUTs or loots. Is it LUT or loot? I don't know. LUT. Lookup tables is what they're called. And also it's a good idea to name your layers. And let's take another grade. LUTs are awesome things. They are basically kind of like that. On you. What? Oh no, I mean, sorry. It's in the wrong window. I think it's a colour grading thing, as you can see, and it is worthwhile, obviously, to sit and go through each and every folder and to try and work out roughly what each folder does before you work out what each effect does, so at least you know which folder to start from. Because it can be very confusing when you come in and you see all this stuff. It's like, what the hell? But it's not that bad, really. Which I understand. They've kind of put everything out in one folder, but it could do with some subdividing into, you know, various kind of categories. But I suppose they wanted to leave everything out there, easy access for you. So the lookup table, as you see, did absolutely nothing, because all it is a holder for the effect. You have to then load up a LUT into it. And these are cube files for some odd reason. I don't know why they're called cube files, but they are. Get to my, where's, there we go. Here's my notes. Now I got mine, I just downloaded them free off the internet from somewhere. They had them, just go search for free LUTs and you'll get them. And you get different ones, you get like, is that the matrices one? These are all, saving private Damon, there you go. They're called stuff like that, but you get the idea. They give you that kind of film look. So if I wanted to have like a Matrix look to it, then I would open up the Matrix LUT. And there you go, and it makes it look like the Matrix. You would never usually use it at 100%. This is why you always put it in its own grade as well, because you would usually turn it down and just have it as an effect, just to tint it, essentially. It's like an ultimate tint, a LUT. It's really good. And they can totally change the look of your image. So the one I use, and I have used for all these shots in this movie, except for one specific section when I used a different LUT for a particular purpose, again to do mood. On this one I used Chromachrome, can you see it? Yeah, Kodachrome. Because it's set in the 80s and Polaroids were big back then, so I shifted it towards a more kind of Polaroid colour scheme. And I used about 15% if I remember, and there you go. And again, you can see the effect with and without. It's a more subtle effect, but you see how it kind of, again, makes things pop out more. The darks are darker, the brights are brighter. It just makes everything just pop that much better. You have to experiment with different LUTs to find the one that works best for you and works best for your project, because your colour schemes are going to be your colour schemes. This has a very particular drab colour scheme because, well, you'll see why in other shots, but sorry, I'm rambling on now. Get on with this. I'm going to try to get this done in an hour. So, right, so there you go. So basically, we have gone from, so you go. So we've gone from that to that with what, 4 effects. Well, now you patch. Which one was you patch? Vignette, glow. 3 effects. There you go. So 3 effects, and you've changed the look of it and improved on it and made it pop a lot better than it was when it was just itself. That is why Hitfilm loves your movie. So, and then you obviously just export that out, and then lovely, move on to the next one. So what is the next one? Let's see. Because I have to see number 3. About 3. Yeah. Okay. I don't know how much this is going to stutter when I'm moving this about, when I'm using the effects and stuff, because obviously Hitfilm kind of taxes your machine somewhat. This is another shot again outside the prison, and this is the thing I wanted in this original shot, and this is straight out of Movie Zoo again. This is just basically what Movie Zoo gave me, and what I wanted to do was have a slow sort of tracking up sort of shot, just a bit, just to bring emphasis from here up towards the prison and towards the film crews, because the next shot is the reverse shot from over there where the film crew is. You can't even tell that's a film crew practically, because these lights don't work, because you don't really get lights in Movie Zoo properly. But I knew when I was making this shot, I already knew about Hitfilm by this point, so I was thinking ahead. So again, this is a good example of how you can use Hitfilm to save your shot as well, because I couldn't move the shot in Movie sorry, I couldn't tilt the camera because of these fences, because they're just, you know, transparent PNGs with a picture of a fence on it. But every time I tried to move the camera, I got the horrible interface Moir pattern, or Mori pattern, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and it looked horrible, so I couldn't move the camera, and I wanted to. Oh. So I will do that in here, but it will be a two-stage process, so just to warn you. So there's two of them here. So the first thing we got to do, remind myself here, what do we do? Is we want everything to be a bit softer, because it's a bit harsh maybe. Anyway. So again, was our favourite effect here. You'll find this is my favourite effect on everything is glow. Just stick a glow and everything. Do that. Stick a glow on it. No, just get stick a glow. There you go. See, and because it makes, so you can see straight away his face is picking up the heat, or from the light, as it were, from that, which, I mean, you get it straight away without you doing anything. It just improves it just that little bit straight away, which is nice. It's what you're after. I will just leave that on default just now, just because I don't know what else we need. Because sometimes you just throw the effect on and then come back to it later on and tweak it depending on what other effects you're going to use. Because we're going to use a couple of things here. Now, what I would like for to happen is, I'll kind of go from the bottom and work my way up. What I would like here is this light here. Look at this. Come on. This light here isn't flickering, really. Again, I had problems trying to get that to work in Movizu for various reasons, because the random light generator thing in it is terrible. so it just doesn't look right. So we're going to add a flickering light to that, or make that flicker, essentially. That's what we're going to do. And again, it's down to your masks. I am thinking, let's think what would be the best way to do that. Just make a, yeah, just make a copy of it. I think that'd probably be easiest. Because I've already got this, you know, glowing and stuff like that, I'll just take a copy, duplicate it. And onto this top layer, I'm now going to put a mask, which will just, you know, you'll see what I'm doing in a second. It will make sense, trust me. We just need a nice big round one, like so. Oh. No, it does help if you're actually on mask. Right. There you go. You don't have to be exact, you just be rough, and then you can resize it in a bit. Right, so I want the kind of area that flickers to be about that, maybe a wee bit flatter. There you go. There it is. And then the glow effect on this layer, which is the top layer, I can now ramp right up. And you can see it only affects the lamp area, or this little mask. Which reminds me, we'll just feather that out just a bit. Just guess to begin with, and then you can always work it out later. And then you can actually see how far it goes. There we go. Alright, and then just check that. So you can see how much you want to do spread. That's fine. Okay, so I want the brightness, basically, so that's the dullest it gets, and that would be, say, the brightest it gets, and it flickers in between those two values. That's what I'm reckoning. So set that I need to do is add a flicker effect. I don't know if flicker is, I think flicker is in Hitfilm Express. If not, you can do it manually just by altering the glow intensity. Just manually, you just set it up and down in a random sort of pattern and do it manually. But flicker just makes it automatic, so so it just, you know, it just makes it easier for you, because it's kind of done it for you. You just have to adjust the rate. So we need, I think, I'm trying to think, would that be a slower rate? Oh, no, I think so. That would be on it, Valerie. I don't know. This is when playing around with the settings helps a lot. Just trying to get it less randomness. Let's see, just make it more. when you're not sure and you're messed with the settings too much, just reset back to what it thinks is the default. Because usually it does a good guess. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. You get the idea. You can set that there and just mess with that to your heart's content. And then once you've got it set, you can then turn the glow down to something sensible. Let's see how it looks. Not bad. Again, I don't know what kind of frame rate you're getting out there. I'll leave it alone. You get the point. Okay, so you can make that flicker. Obviously in my shot, because these are copies of my original shots, and obviously in my shot it took more time to do it, but for the sake of the stream you get the idea. You just whack on stuff like that. Now the lights are the interesting bit, and also the easy bit. I guess stick on another grid, stick on a flare, a light flare, and by default it just sticks one in, just whatever the first one on the list is, that one. And it is worth going through them all and just check them all out, because you get all kinds of groovy kind of stuff in here. I mean, it's great. The one we're looking for is flashlight white. Yep, but not quite like that. Obviously we've got some work. So just so position it. It can obviously be a good idea to turn the intensity down a bit so you can see what you're doing. There we go. Stick it in the middle there. There we go. And straight away that, you know, it helps a lot, because there is no sort of ambient lighting in movies, so you can't really do that. Let's see now. I'll try to move stuff about so I can still see the chat there. Just in case anybody. Remember, if you have anything, if you want to ask anything about what I'm doing, just stop me and just say what the hell you're doing. Because I'll just rattle through this. Oh, that's not great. Let's just done that. Just a tad, and then turn the. See, I'm trying to think what's the best way. You see, you can mess with this again a lot. You change the colours, you change, you know, all this kind of stuff. You change the hotspot brightness and stuff like that. So if you wanted it really bright, you can have it nuclear bright. We'll have it about that. Yeah, about that. And right, okay. And we need another one for let's be buddy down there. So okay, just duplicate that. Move it to. Zooming a bit would help. That's. And there you go. You got two lights, which looks a lot better than it was. The intensity though. Which one is that? That's the wee one. That's okay. The big one needs to be a bit more intense in the middle bit. The thing is, increasing the intensity there, obviously you increase everything else, so you have to sometimes turn the scale down as well to get it a bit more localised. Your hotspot position here is, or your raised position, sorry, is where you put your lens flare and stuff like that, if you want it. I'll put it down there just now. And that's yeah, you got some lights, and that helps seal that in as well. And then the last thing you got to do is go back to there. Take my see in that is that yeah. See, that's why you should always rename your one. I'll copy that, because that's what I did with the entire film. I just copied the same lot over and over again, because I'm going to use the same one over and over again. There you go. And that one, it does remember the size of the composite. So that again helps tie in your shots, because if all your shots are using the same lot, it means they're all shifted towards the same colour scheme generally, and that helps to tie your shots together better, because that's what colour grading actually is. It's the way of making everything look like it belongs. And so you get your thing. Oh no, let me just okay, so there you go. Then you get flickering light, and there you go. and that adds much more animation to it than what it was originally, which was that. Which is not so good. It's okay, but it's, you know, that just adds a lot more. Obviously, you mess around with the lights more, you can get more effects. You can, you know, angle them about the place and stuff like that. Now, what I did with this one was, like I said, I wanted to pan up a little bit, but I also thought then if I do that, then the lens flare of these is going to change, isn't it? Because obviously, when you get lens flare off camera and you move, then that's going to change over time, so you're going to have to animate that. So I exported this shot and then created a new shot. There's my actual. You see it much more subtle with this kind of stuff. So that's the actual shot I did, and then I wanted to add a bit of a lens flare. So again, add a new grid, and we're still on lens flares. There we go. Light flares rather. And we want, for this one, we want a chromatic arc. There you go, because I like the colours. And you just move it where you need it, which is over here in this case, right about there, I thought. And and then leave that alone for a minute. Now, what I want to do now, because this shot now is, you know, it's just it's all one shot. There's no effects on it at all. There's nothing. It makes it a lot easier for your machine to handle, because this is just a rendered sequence of images. So it's not going to process any effects or anything, except any new ones you've just added, like this one. Now, I only want the arc here. I don't want the light. So, you know, the intensity covers everything, so you don't want that. What you need to do is go to the hotspot and turn it down, just leaving you with that. You can then move the source to match your actual light, move your lens flare there, just to, you know, make it look pretty. And again, so that's set up, ready to go, basically, to animate, but we don't know what to animate it yet, because we don't know. We don't know what we're going to do yet. So we are going on the shot now. Like I said, we're going to just sort of pan up just a bit. So what we're going to do is zoom in just a little bit on the image, just so we'll lose a little bit. Go up at 104%. I think. There you go. So we're just losing a little bit. But then we move it back up, so we get that to the bottom. Okay, so now we have a little bit of breathing room. So if I go to the first frame here, and I go to my position, and turn on keyframing, so that's the first position set. At the end of my shot, where I want it to stop moving, which will be, I guess, up here, then move that to the maximum extent I can that way. There you go. And there you go. And you get very, very slow. Oh, that's too much, because you can see the blue border. Right. So 2 keyframes. There you go. And if you want to change that transition so it speeds up or slows down, easy enough. Just go to your value chart. Just make sure you can see the whole thing there. There you go. And that's because at the moment it's linear, it's just straight up like that. But if I wanted to, I could put that and stick that into manual Bezier, which gives you your fancy wee handles and stuff. And you can do all that kind of stuff, you know, mess with the speed of it. As you can see, it's affecting it in real time, so you can do it like that. Or you could just use one of the presets, you know, like smooth, whatever. There you go. So a nice smooth transition between that. So it starts slow and then just, yeah, do whatever you like. But the point is, I can now pan up a little bit. These aren't going crazy, and it looks nice. And I'm not disturbing my lights or anything like that. Now the lens flare though, this here has to move in time with this. Again, pretty easy. Got here, effect. Get your hotspot, which not your hotspot, sorry, your pivot, which is this for your position, which is kind of hidden there. You see, as you move it around, it changes values. So let's say we want to have it start here. Okay, so animation on, and then at the end of the shot, we want it to be, I don't know. Would it move? I'm trying to think. It'd go the opposite way, wouldn't it? So it'd go that way probably. So let's see. Yeah. Yeah. For the purposes of demonstration, that work. So again, it adds to the idea that you're panning up the camera, not just panning up on a static image, because the lens flare is moving in time with the shot from these lights which don't exist because you just added. So there you go. That's again another relatively simple way to make it look better. Oh, and of course, what did I not do? I didn't paste in my LUT. The thing is, you've got to be careful though, because if I put in the LUT again, I've already put in the LUT on the other one. Remember on the source? I put it on there. So but always remember that if you're going to put that on, make sure it's the final shot, because sometimes that really shouldn't be there, you know, because you have it on here, on the final shot. Otherwise you're doubling it up each time and you can end up getting darker and darker shots, or more and more you know, craziness because you're forgetting to put it on. Again, which is why you got to name it. You definitely have to name it, yeah, and get some agreement from the chat over here. Yes. Oh crap. What did I do? Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. See, agreement here. Just showing the internet. See, look, we're making progress. So you got very simple. It is really simple. I mean, look how long that took to do that, and you know, and I'm just bumbling about the place. So next shot. What are we on to the next shot now? What's next? Oh, this is an interesting one. On you. There we go. Now this is a particularly bad shot in terms of lighting from what movies you gave me. This is anteroom for the execution chamber. Ted Bundy's about to get executed in there, and we're watching the dude here, FBI dude, who is our main dude, our second main dude. And I actually only kept the very end of the shot, just this bit here where he tilts his head down. But you know, you shoot what you shoot. So the thing is, I mean, it looks alright, but again, we've got to do our usual sort of tricks on it. Now this is the first one there that's using depth. And depth is a depth pass. Because on the original shot, you see there's no depth field whatsoever, it's just everything's in focus. It's because in Movie you've got depth pass, which you don't have in iClone, which is ridiculous. How can this crappy old thing in Unreal 3 have a depth pass? You know, unbelievable. Rampa on the iClone forums came up with a great idea, and he just used the fog effect, and you can fake this in iClone to create a depth pass, so that you can then use what I'm about to use. Again, this was Rodney Bertie there, Chris there, who turned me on to this idea of what the depth pass is actually for. It's great. I love the depth pass. I didn't use it in a lot of the early shots, but I use it in all my shots now. Because I can change the depth of field here, not in the program, not in the animation, because if I get it wrong in the animation, I've got to go back and re-render it. Here, I can just change it to whatever I want. So, again, in this one, the first thing I'm going to do is one of the most common effects I use before I do anything else, which is a crush blacks and whites. And the reason is because, again, when you put it on, it's default, so it doesn't do anything. And the reason is this basically changes or fixes. Yeah, depth pass is the best, absolutely. Yes, Chris is agreeing with me. Crush blacks and whites is the best thing ever to sort your lighting, especially in animations. Again, I don't know how well it works so much in live footage, but in animations, oh my god, you need crush blacks and whites. This fixes your animations, because if your lighting is, if you don't have enough shadows, you just add the shadows. You can add your darkness, and if you need bloom or you need brightness, you know, it's not like darkness and brightness filter. It's a different. It's adjusting levels more like, and it gives you. And it also sort of does exposure. It's just a great effect. You can do so much with crush blacks and whites as well. But mainly, you can fix the lighting to give you more what you're trying to get in the first place. You know, more of a kind of So it's slightly deeper. This is supposed to be like, you know, early in the morning, artificial lighting only. So, you know, something more like that, just to correct the base footage and then start adding effects. That's what I like to do. So the first effect we're going to put on it is use the depth pass, because we need our, well, it's under blurs, but it's the lens blur. It's here. And again, it just messes up your thing. What you got to do is tell it what you want to use as your information to make the blur happen, the lens blur, you know, with depth of field and all that. And it's depth, oddly enough. And how you want to handle it is luminance. And now it takes effect. And that's it. That's you set up, and now all you need to do is change. And you can change your focus in here. And of course that means you can animate your focus in here, which is just so much more fun to do it in here, and it's much easier and nicer to do it in here, because again you've got the value graph, so you can change the values and do nice smooth transitions between points. You can sort of do that with the keyframing pack and Movie Zoo, but it's easier to just do it in here. Just do it in here, it's just a lot easier. So I'll stop ticking about. Okay, so we get him in focus. There you go, lovely. And then we play the shot, and he goes out of focus because I moved the camera. It wasn't a zoom, I actually physically moved the camera, so the so the focal point is now moving through his head, which means I have to go back to the focus distance, animate it. I'll get to the point where the camera stops moving, not all the way to the end, just the camera stops moving. Again, I'm not being too precise about it. You'd be more precise if you're doing this properly. I usually go for the eyes. If the eyes are perfectly sharp, everything else doesn't really matter. Just go for the eyes. Yeah, close enough. You get that. So there you go. So now when it moves through, he stays in focus all the way through. Very nice. And you can check. I usually turn that up to full just so I can check, because it's very easy to see if your focus is wrong like that while you're working on it. And then once you're finished, you turn it down to something a bit more sensible. So yeah, he's in focus the whole shot. There you go. Nice. I'll turn that down to what I want it to be, which is more like just that, kind of a bit more subtle. Just again, just add a bit of depth. Right. Next, what do we have to do? Right, so that's... oh yes, her. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to paste my LUT on. Again, my dear old trusty LUT. Which is the same one I'm using, and oh my god, what the frick has happened to her face? What had happened is, and this is the reason why I chose this one, is because normally she looks okay, she looks a bit suntanned or a little bit, you know, heavy makeup or whatever, but that's fine, she looks okay. But as soon as I put that on, it hits the range it's using on the Kodak LUT, and it's really bringing out those colours too much, and she's basically drawing focus away from him. Because when I did that, I thought, what the hell, what happened to your face? Because it doesn't look that bad like that, but oh. So you could go back and reshoot it and fix her face, but of course we're not going to do that. We're going to fix it in here because it's dead easy. Again, I do create a new grade. It's always the first thing you do at any shot. You're going to fix it, create a new grade. First thing you're going to do. And I'm going to name it before I even start. Face fix. There we go. And what you're going to do to begin with is masks. Again, good old faithful masks. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off her face. I can turn. It's always a good idea to turn off any extra effects you're not using or anything, because you're just slowing things down. It's not helping. I'm just going to do a rough mask. Again, you could do it very precisely, but I'm just going to do a rough one here, like so. And I'm not going to. Her hair's okay and everything, so it's just her face. So I'm just going to. There we go. So I'm only going to affect her face, okay? And I'll turn it on. I'll actually turn that back on just now because I can see the effect. And now what I want to do is, in case I'm going to groups. Oh no, it's not. There's all kinds of colour correction tools in here, as you know, but HSL hue, saturation, lightness covers pretty much everything if you need to fix something in colour wise. So I always use that because I just need less red in her face. Can I reflect just less, please? So, and you can see basically I'm only affecting her, nothing else. So I can bring. I don't want to make her, you know, obviously because in other shots she's a bit more red than everybody else. So I don't want to mess up my continuity. So there you go. So again, if you turn it on and off, you can see the difference between her face looking normal and day glow. That's it. It's a very subtle effect, but there you go. The problem is, of course, that as the shot progresses, of course, there you go, see the mask didn't keep up with her. The two ways you can do that, you can either track her face or just move it. I will do tracking later on. That's number 6, I think. We do tracking, but the easiest way to fix that one, because it's a, and because I know it's a straight move, it's a linear sort of camera move, then this is sorry, this is an easy one to just transform that. You just go there and you animate the path, because it's the path that the whole thing is going to take. So you start again, start from there. You go to the last frame where the camera stops moving, which is roughly about there. Grab your mask and stick it back over her face. Won't really affect her eyes because it's only doing the reds, but yeah. And then you can just scrub through to check that it. There you go. And again, if you want it, it's going to be a hard edge, so you're better off, you know, in the shape, just feathering it, just a wee bit, just a few pixels, just to make it less obvious. There we go. There. So our finished shot's fixed shot is that, and there you go. She doesn't look out of place anymore. Her focus is more on him. That's better. I think as well though that I think you'd need more red in that. I think I in my finished shot I had more red in it. I think yeah. I just remember what I did. I think I've got the original. Indulge me for a second here. I want to check, because that's what I actually, that's my shot. That's the one I actually used, and I did something else obviously because it's a lot deeper in this one. You could spend all day. What did I do? No, I don't know what I did that was different in that one that made it darker, but yeah. Anyway, so from that, which is kind of bland and kind of washed out, to that, which is a lot better colour balanced. It's the depth is a lot better. Obviously, I've animated the depth of field. It's a better shot, and that's all you want. Next. What is next? Oh yeah, 36. This is a good one. Go on, you. Because this was the first one I really noticed that, my God, did Hitfilm make a difference. That's why I posted about it on the Facebook page in Zoo Chat, because, oh my God, what a difference this makes. Okay. Let's see now, this one. Okay, this one is comprised of 2 layers. Okay, so we've got a background layer which I rendered out in one layer and moves out. And the obvious reason is because I wanted to have control over that separate from control over this, because this is a different kind of environment, because you're inside a car, and that's obviously different from being outside. So it's easier to control it if that's in a separate layer. Which is why I did it. Also, these have already had, you can see that this has already had depth of field applied to it in another shot, because you can see this is under fixed comp, because I already made another composite shot where I fixed this shot, added depth of field, did various things to it, rendered that out as an image stream, image sequence, brought it back into this, and so I've now just got that and that. This one also I fixed, because there was things with the roof that were wrong. So I fixed this before I brought it in here. So this is something else as well, is remember, try not to fix everything and you know, bring in your footage in one composite, try and fix it and do everything in one go. Fix it first, re-export it so it's now fixed, and then re-import it and then work on the fixed version of it, rather than trying to add all the effects to a fixed version that you've also got all the effects all loaded. Believe me, you don't want to do that. I discovered that the hard way. So that is my tip of the day. Use your composites, export them, re-import them as separates, and then, you know, work on them that way. Any road up. Crush blacks and whites. Come here. This is where it really, really works, because on the background layer, right, it's supposed to be, let me just turn off the, it's supposed to be a really, really hot, sunny August day, and it doesn't look it. It looks sunny, but it's not that sunny. So let's increase the shadows a wee bit, and then make that bugger bright. Yes, Pat, exactly. That's where it does. It saves resources because you've only got so much memory. The program is chugging away trying to render stuff as you're scrubbing through the timeline. And if it's having to render various levels of composite shots that have all got various fixes to them, it struggles like anything, honestly. It just grinds to a halt. If you're just working off an image sequence, it's fine. If you can add a few effects to that, it's still fine, up to a point. So you've really got to work on you know, shots that are finished, really fix, like I say, fix them first, then worry about doing all your effects and stuff. Get them fixed first. But again, look at that difference. Crush black to white. So flat and not sunny there, and then just with that, it just lifts it. Just immediately, it's just like, whoa, sunny. Love that. Just love that effect. So simple. It's so little you need to do with it. It just batter it in and that's it. And then you can adjust your shadows again because you get harsher shadows up to a point. Obviously, then you get to adjust your ambient and stuff like that. Again, that's where it gets all artistic about your colour balance and stuff. Next, I've got to do the same thing with this. Crush me blacks and whites. Because again, that's very pale looking, it's very flat looking, and we want it darker. We want, especially the shadows, we want them to be much deeper. And we want the contrast to be better, or higher to match our environment. So, put it about there, I reckon, just now. Again, you don't have to, never think you're going to get these right first time. You know, you just bang them in. And I know I'm talking, I know if Rodney's still here, you know exactly what I mean. But for people that don't know, you just don't attempt to fix it in the first go. You never do it. You work at it a layer at a time. So now here's a great effect I want to show you, which is called light wrap. And it is an Express, I'm pretty sure. It is. And it is a matte enhancement. You'll never find it. It's buried in keying, matte enhancement, light wrap, whatever the hell that means. I just watched a tutorial and seen somebody using it and I thought, that's brilliant. So, what light wrap does is it takes the light from one layer, like say your background layer here, that one here, and it bleeds it into another layer. So, my source layer for my light wrap, I want to be the background. And if we go in, and again, you're usually best to ramp up so you can see the effect, and there you go. And that bleeds the light. And again, you can go crazy with that effect. I mean, I've overused it a couple of times because it's so good. And as you can see, it softens everything up, especially in movies or iClone or anything else. You have this problem of, you know, rock hard edges. Anything you can do to soften it up, do it, honestly, because the softer it looks, the less harsh it is on your poor eyes. But that is a great effect, and it just bleeds the colour as well as the lightness, you notice, because the actual colour is coming through. It really does work. You can do all kinds of great effects with light wrap. Usually, the best way to do it though is not to do it always. Again, don't try and hit it all with one effect and go, there you go. It's actually better to use one and then duplicate it and then do another one and do different layers on top of other ones, if you know what I mean. But for now, you get the idea, so I'll leave it like that, that's fine. You mess with it, so you can really ramp it up as well if you add, and then it really, it just goes nuts. You can get really bright. Again, it depends what you need from it. Again, spaceships, that's a good thing for spaceship windows and stuff like that. I like that kind of stuff. I think just normal would just be just fine. No, it was overlay. Yeah, that's why I think it was overlay. But again, if you can't remember, reset. Lighten, there we go, lighten it was. I'm so glad they have that reset thing there, because without it I'd get lost so many times. Right, so lighten is the default for it. So there you go, nice. So that kind of bleeds the light through, looks nice. Next. What's the next effect? The next effect will be... Oh yeah. Now to except that this car here, this car interior, oh crap, didn't mean to do that. The car interior here is matching better the outside, but it's too bright still inside here. So I want to tie all of this together and make it look like we're inside a car. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit it with a big 1080 because that saves time. There we go. Now again, you don't stick it in default. What you do is you get your shape right. So what we want is more shaped like the car, like that. You see what I'm getting at? Yeah. And that way you can use it to your advantage to give you more of an effect of being in a dark car looking out into the bright outside. And this is especially important because at this point in the film you're just sitting in a car and you're hearing strange noises until Ted shows up to escort victim number 1 in. And she comes up and we look inside. I should have played that first actually rather than just straight away going and fixing the stuff, but that's the shot, yeah. So you go, she's inside, thinks, why is there no passenger seat? Seriously? And there you go. So again, vignette, again, if you can see it, you're doing it wrong. It should just be a suggestion. That looks more like a shadow of the car, casting a shadow of itself, because obviously the sun, you can see by the shadows on the ground, the sun is high, it's up here somewhere. So this should be dark. It should actually physically probably be even darker than that, but as long as we get the suggestion and it takes away the thought in the audience's mind of why is that not dark? Now it's darkish, it's in shadow, and you're more concentrating on what the hell's happening rather than thinking about what bits are wrong. And you're just thinking, what the hell's going on? Which is what you want. Oh yeah, and then the last thing, of course, tie it all together. Stick the lot on top of it. Make sure it covers the whole shot and a bit. Again, you can just verify that. Yeah, I mean, even turn off all of that, God. See, it builds up though. It does build up. Well, there you go. That's the progress from that. It's just, it's alright, but that looks better. That's better. That looks better. And there you go. A much better shot. I think it looks great. And that's why I thought I had to do this tutorial. I've got to show people because people are missing a trick here. This is not difficult, as you can see. I'm kind of rattling through this. So next, oh no, sorry, there was one other thing I had to do in that one, which was when she opens up the door. You have to think about the kind of life of your shot, essentially. When she opens up the door, or when he opens up the door, sorry, then more light gets in here. Obviously, you see more light will get in, but the light value in here doesn't change. So let's fake that, shall we? Call it what it is. Let's fake it. So again, what you do is, I mean, you could do various things again with shape stuff, but the easiest thing to do would be get your strength where you want it to be at its maximum. Well, actually, where you want it to start changing it, I should say. So we're about there, I think. So it starts changing. And where would it stop changing? Probably about maximum amount of light, probably be about there. And then decrease the strength of that, and there you go. And then inside of the car gets slightly lighter. Just as he opens up the door. A subtle effect, but that's the kind of thing that helps sell the idea that you're watching something that's actually happening and forget the idea that it's a cartoon because it's only a cartoon. But it's just subtle things, because these are the things your subconscious. I'm overdoing it, obviously. You wouldn't do it that obvious, but it's these sort of subconscious, subtle things that will sell what you're doing a lot better. Especially if it's animation, because people immediately dismiss animations. It's a cartoon. So if you want to be able to take it seriously, work on them psychologically, is my advice. Right. Well, the one last thing I got to. See, there's always one last thing, isn't there? But I do have to do one last thing, which is create your grid, stick it underneath everything. Because your vignettes and your LUTs, LUT always goes on top, always. Even on top of the vignette, always goes on top. And well, okay, occasionally the vignette will go on top, but more or less usually it goes that way. Your LUTs and your colour grades all go to the top to grade everything underneath, and your media is usually right at the bottom of the heap underneath all the grades. Yeah, what do I need to do? I need to add. You can do effects that way as well if you don't want to look through the list. I don't know why I like doing it that way. Yeah, see, it's quicker to just type it out there. One last light flare we need, a little spiky star. Spiky star. Where's spiky star? Oh, that's spiky star. And what we're going to do is, I love all that, it does all the lens flare automatically. What we want to do is, for God's sake, turn the thing down a bit so you can see it. And all I want to do is add a little highlight to that gear knob. There's no metalness in Movie obviously, so if you want anything to look metal and to have little highlights, little shines like that, you've got to fake it. Step in Hitfilm. So we need it very small. I think like really small, just a tiny little bing, just like ding, like that. And we'll make it sometimes. Obviously, I'm overdoing it a wee bit, but you get the idea. And we'll stick it to add, so it's nice and bright. And let's see. We can also take, because obviously the rays are overdoing it a bit. So you can come in here and you can change. You can still have the rays if you really want to. You can have all kinds of crazy stuff. Or you can just have it just a little suggestion maybe, like that. Or you can have it thicker. Or you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. And also, what was actually going to change was the brightness, just so they're less bright. Or you can have them really. There you go. Just a tiny little suggestion of them. There you go. Oh. There. Overdoing it. And again, you can change the brightness of that when he opens up the door. In fact, I'll just do that right now. I'm glad I brought these in as well. I shall show you the finished shot to show you what I mean. Because you see, it's a lot subtle. Here's got the vignette. See the light wraps. I've done it a bit more subtly and more diffuse. I've done a couple of them. And you watch the light right here. It just slightly increases, and that slightly decreases, and it's just again, just got the light there. Again, it's just the intensity and the scale. I just animated them a little bit. See the values changing, just a little bit. Again, it's a small subconscious thing. Most people won't even notice it consciously, but subconsciously they would notice it if it wasn't there, if you know what I mean. So it's a good trick to do. And that's what I was going for with that. My clumsy attempt to remember what I did, yeah, that's obviously too much. But it's that kind of effect you're after, just a kind of metal highlight. Because the gear knob on the on that particular type of Volkswagen was metal, I believe. So I always try if I can, just to keep it, you know, lower friendly, if you know what I mean. Excuse me. That's an hour and a quarter already, but and I've only been streaming for an hour, but yeah. I'll try and hurry up, sorry. try to get this done in an hour, but this is... it's complicated. Okay, next. Oh yeah. I love this shot, this is one of my favourite shots. I love it because of how it came out more than what the shot is. Okay, this was the original shot, right? This was him escorting a potential victim back to his beetle. She has a look inside, doesn't buy it, looks behind her, thinks, what the hell? Because she doesn't like where... What's that? Well, when will it be finished? I am finishing it. This is what I do. I transferred all the shots over from Sony Vegas into Hitfilm so that I could do all this stuff. Oh yeah. Oh. Sorry, my throat's going. Streaming too much. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I am going to get it finished because I'm actually just doing the torture bits. Honest, that's what I'm doing. I'm at the end. I had a delay of a few months while I transferred everything over to Hitfilm and added all the effects and stuff, but it's worth it. Yeah, it'll be finished when it's finished, sort of thing. But also, I mean, look at this. This was my original film, right? And this is, you know, okay, watchable, I suppose, but it's crap. I mean, it looks crap. And the film lets me make it look good. And I'm not going to turn that chance down. So, we're going to do first, we are going to... I'm trying to think what I'm doing this one. Yeah, well, we'll do the usual. Again, go... Crusher blacks and whites. And this one is, you see, it's in 2 parts, and the reason why it's in 2 parts is because I had to cut. She had an awkward blink basically because of Twixtor, because I slowed the shot down because you can't slow down the speed of moves with characters. For anybody that doesn't know, I had to slow it down externally. Oh, Amon Ra is I'll have to ask. You have to ask Rodney about that one. But Amon Ra is the same thing. I mean, it's like, honestly, it's worth it because of what he's done with it and using Hitfilm to get the most out of every shot. It just makes the difference, and it's like, who cares? I mean, I don't have a deadline anyway. It's not like I have to have it finished by a certain time, and I'm going to spend as long as it takes to get it as good as I can. Any road up. I do this shot here. The thing is, oh yeah, what I was going to point out was, I have 2 shots here, right? Now if I add crush blacks and whites and do my effects, I'm going to have to do the same with this other shot. And like I say, I cut that there because there was a bad blink essentially, but I could cut out the frames and she was stationary and you can't see it, but that's why there's the join in the films. If I add any effects to this clip, I'm going to have to add it to that clip as well, which means I'm duplicating everything. So, you grade, and then you grade everything. When you move up, there we go. And then you grade everything below it, and that way you don't have to do it individually. So, again, another good thing to do. It means you don't have to do 2 effects. You only have to take 1 effect in here, and that helps everything, and it helps Hitfilm. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to increase the shadows a bit. I mean, look at the difference that makes, can't I? And then brighten that bugger up just a bit. Yeah, I mean, you can go really crazy with the brightness. Just have it like that. Again, just difference with and without. Just yeah. This is why I switched over to Hitfilm. Because you can do this kind of thing in Vegas, which is what I was using before, but it's such a pain in there. I'm using Vegas Pro 11, and I don't know if Vegas Pro 15 is any better, but I just don't like the way Vegas works, and I don't like the way it uses masks. The way Hitfilm uses masks is a piece of piss. It's so easy to use in here. It's so awkward in Vegas. Oh, they make masks so painful to use. Sorry, I'm reliving bad memories there of trying to, keyframe animate masks in Vegas is just torture. And here, absolutely so easy. It's just easy. Just drag and drop. Right, so sorry, I'm getting distracted. So there you go there. Fix the lighting on the shot, or the basic sort of overall sort of lighting, so it doesn't look quite so crap. Next one I'm going to do is add some fun effect, which will be light flares. Oh, Night flares again. Back to roll the night flares. Where's our night flares? There's a bloody there's night flares. We can stick this in the same one because it's a separate effect, but it's kind of tied to it. And we're going to have a spotlight. There we go. Now this is the sun. I'm going to create the sun. Well, because what I noticed was when I was doing this is there was a wee bit of cloud in the sky there, just here, and I noticed that if I start, hitting things with it, I can make it look like the sun's just at the edge, just there, because it's supposed to be high in the sky. And then I got into the idea of, okay, I want to have the sun here, and then have, the arc of the lens flare cutting through her neck in a subconscious sort of, again, thing, because if you know what the film's about and what Ted Bundy did, that makes perfect sense. To have something cutting through her neck, which I did a lot in the film. There's a lot of symbology going to do with cutting of necks. Like you've seen actually in that earlier shot, actually, when we were doing her, she, yeah, see the door frame cuts her neck, you see. I did a lot of that in this film. A lot of symbology, but it's just, you'll see what I mean when I finish. Where was that? Yeah, so what I was going to do with, what I was doing rather with this was, I think, this is for, there we go. This is just to create some light rays, not to actually create the sun itself. So you could, I suppose fine. Go fine, I suppose fine. It's the rays are really, yeah. So let's have more rays. Yeah, see what I'm getting at? And then you could have, well, obviously you wouldn't do that, that'd be silly. But you try to suggest that the sun's up there somewhere. There. Sorry, I talked there. You can also, because some kind of artistic sort of things, Again, it's good for creating shapes in your shot to use rays and things. But I'm not going to go that cheesy. I just want a wee bit of that, just sort of, again, so it cuts over her. Anything that overlaps and again cuts those edges and breaks up your image and gets rid of these damn sharp lines is a good thing to do. Just keep on getting rid of those damn sharp lines. The brightness of it is a bit much, so just turn it down. And that's just the rays I'm adjusting, not the actual light itself. So you do that kind of thing. So you can just leave it like that and just have that as the sun. That kind of thing. And if the sun's up there or something. That's what I'm getting at. But what I actually did to create the sun. Nope, that's. In fact, if I remember correctly, what I did was I just turned that. No. Oh crap. Where is it? It can get tricky sometimes. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, putting our head inside the lens flare. That kind of thing is a good thing to do. Now I'm not going to go through the whole process of what I did for that shot because I can't actually remember what I did. But again, another thing that would help the shot is we are inside a car. So you know what that means? Yes, you guessed it. A vig. Again, you build the same trick, you get the shape right so that it matches the car more. It's more about the edges there. Again, it kind of pulls it. It kind of pulls your eye towards the centre of the frame more if you have that coming off into darkness. It's like, as you put it, the roof of this car was completely buggered. It just didn't work at all. That's a patch. Again, like I did with the phone earlier on, because it was a static shot, I just went into Photoshop, redrew that using the colours and patched that in. So that's actually a little patch that's sitting over a crappy bit of a model. Because, movies you cannot render this properly at all, as you can see. But there you go, that's a improved shot, I think. In fact, and what did we forget to what? kind of looked, which again really brought out the colours in this one. I like. So there you go. Which looks nice. And if you go back to what we had, yeah, it just, yeah, the comparison here. Again, the what I actually did with that one was that. So I went for it, and again the shot. It actually goes from here. I didn't use the opening door part. I used a different shot for that. And I went from here. Again, and you see the lens flare is cutting directly through her neck and through Ted's eyes, actually, which was an accident. I didn't actually mean to do that, but then I noticed I can line them all up. So there you go. And again, I used a more subtle effect for the sun. I used two. I used what did I use? I used, yeah, because as the sun is just that there, which is just more or less the highlight and a bit of flare, and then that's correction. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, you don't need to add that much, it just changes the whole look. Yeah, foreshadowing, that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, I use a lot of foreshadowing in this. I mean, every other shot is a foreshadow or something. You wouldn't believe the number of times I could get away with shoving things through girls' necks. You know, even their hair, because you know the hairstyle, stuff like that. If they turn a certain way, then the hairstyle can cut through their own neck. You know, I mean, it's just, it was so easy to do. It was great fun. I spent a lot. I shouldn't have spent so much time with my foreshadowing, you know, but I did do it a lot. Anyway, again, another good example of very little, and look at the result. It's just a much better shot than what we had to start with. Just so much more convincing. Next, and I think, yeah, last. Oh, thank God we got there. Last shot. Okay, and this is the big one. This is the one where we use motion tracking, because that's the one everybody always seems to get. I don't know. I don't know if they get lost with it or they get scared of it, but motion tracking isn't that difficult, really. Honest to God, it's not that difficult. Right, 31. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, so that shot we just seen of her, you know, looking, you know, when Ted opens the door, she looks in, she looks back and forward. This is what we cut to. We cut to from here, from here, and then we follow her, and then there. And in the actual, in the editor, I actually speed up the footage a bit and change the speed of it. But in here, you don't change, never change the speed of things in here unless it's to fix it. You know, always leave your final stuff like that to the editor bit. When you're in here and you're doing your editing bit, then you can do that kind of stuff. You don't want to do that kind of stuff to this, because this is all about getting this fixed and getting it, you know, showroom ready. That's the way I think of it. Polish, spit and polish. Get the spit and polish done. Then worry about how you're going to edit it. Right now, I've got to fix this whole shot. And there's a couple of things I've got to do. Obviously, our usuals. Let's get the get our crush in there, because there you go. It's a single shot, so we can just stick that straight on. It's soft shadows. Get them dark. Nice dark shadows. The dark side. Bring that up a bit. And again, if you really want to ramp up, you know, the brightness to, which I do, then I put it up to there, and then you add a glow effect, and that really brings it out, as I'll show you in a second. Because you, again, don't try to do everything in one shot. Again, this crushed blacks and whites I just used to fix the lighting, the basic, you know, what's dark, what's light. Just fix the lighting first, and then worry about all your kind of fancy glows and what have you. We're a bit of time. Yes. So that looks reasonable, I think. Yeah, again, look how flat that was. This was the second shot, I believe, I put on Zoo Chat to show, look at the difference. I mean, look at that. One effect. No, I mean, these especially, they look so flat and unconvincing sitting there. Because, again, Movie Zoo can't really render the shadows in here properly. It can't really do ambient shadows properly. So you have to kind of fake it. Yeah, and this is where you fake it. Next effect. So we've got that sorted. Yeah, oh no, obviously because I put that gear knob highlight, remember? I put the knob like there because it was metal. That means I'm going to have to put it on there. But because the shot's moving, my light flare is going to have to follow that. So I'm going to have to track that. I shall do that. Should I do that first or should I do that last? I'm not sure. I'll do that first because then there's no effect running, so it makes it smoother. So to track something is reasonably straightforward, but there's a couple of things you've got to be aware of first. First thing you do, create a point. I always forget to do it, so create a point, okay? Call it a knob track. Ooh. I'd call it knob, there you go. No, it's a knob point actually, but we'll call it, yeah, we'll call it, okay. We'll do it properly. Do it properly. There you go, knob track, right? And it's just a point. All it is that point there. It's just a data point. There's nothing, can't see it, doesn't do anything, it's just a point. Okay? Next thing we do is we go to the original footage and we go to tracks, and we are going to add a new track. And when you click on that, it automatically puts you into tracker mode. And it does a couple of things which can throw you. First thing it does is it takes you out of the viewer mode and puts you into a special layer mode. And you've got to be aware of that, because in layer mode you can't see your movie, you can only see the tracker sort of information. So just, you'll see what I mean in a second. So there's your tracking box. Basically, if I was tracking that, for example, it would look for that pattern inside the red box. Okay, that's where it's tracking. And it uses the green box to scan for this red box. So the bigger this is, the longer it will take, and the more processing power it will take to try and find that shape within this green box. And that's how the tracking works. Normally you don't actually have to change anything, to be honest. Normally the default works just fine. I know I need to skinny this up a little bit, but okay. Now because this shot works like, and I only need it from say here to here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to track it backwards. I'm going to start from here and track back until I lose sight of the gear knob, because that's the only bit I need. So, get to the last frame. You just click anywhere inside it and it moves it about. And I'll click the most distinctive looking part of the gear knob. Try to think where it will be, where it's not going to move. Probably, yeah, if I do that and then I'll track that highlight. There we go. So I should be able to find that okay. Okay, so it's just tracking that shape. And of course as the thing moves, it doesn't, the perspective doesn't change too much, so it maintains its shape, so that's okay. So that's you set up ready to track. Okay, it's a good idea at this point, obviously, to save it in case you're working on it. Now you can do different flow methods stuff, but just default is fine. Just worry about the default to begin with. Okay, you can do this two ways. You can either track it by going one frame at a time, tracking backwards in this case, which is the same as manually moving, you know, a mask or something like that. You can do it that way if you want, and sometimes you have to manually do it. But generally speaking, and if you've got a nice clean track, all you need to do is set it up like this, and then hit back, and then off it goes, and it will track what you told it to until it runs out. Oh, there you go. And it ran out and stopped because, as you can see, it's lost the pattern because it's out of shot and the green box can't track it anymore. So, as you can see that it did that frame, what we'll do is go forward, just check. Okay. So all we need to do, remembering that our glow is going to be about the size of the gear stick, all we need to do is make sure that this keeps on tracking until this is a gear stick, a gear knob's distance away from it, so that our flare doesn't just appear and then start to move, you know, off just at the edge of the frame. You want it to come into frame from nothing, so you want to keep on tracking it a little bit. So what you do is go back one more frame. No, because we're outside that. So you have to do it manually. Go back one frame and then move the tracking box yourself. And I don't know if you can see that because it's right off there, but there is a little cross there. The crosses represent the frames. You see them? There you go. Yeah. Those blue crosses is each frame marker. So as you can see, I'm just trying to I manually made my own frame, keeping it the same sort of distance. Move back another frame. Move that to about there, and there you go. So now I've tracked it right off the screen, so that when it appears, or disappears in this case rather, it won't just get to the edge and then stop, which is a problem I've seen with some people when they're using the tracking. They don't do that little extra bit to get it off the screen. So just always be aware of that the size of the thing that you're going to put onto that tracking point, because that's all we do now. Because now we've got a track. That's it, sorted. we've done. We have made a track, and you can. And there you go. And it only applies, as you can see, just to that bit of footage, because it's only there where you can see the gear knob from the end back to here. And now we'll do it. And we're going to transform. You can also use that to stabilize, but that usually works better with 2 points, but that's a different tutorial for a different time. Now what you have to do is you have to assign this information to something, because all that is tracking information. You haven't told it to do anything yet. So what you have to do is you have to assign it to a layer, and the layer is knob track, which is our data point. Okay, so apply, and that's it. Nothing seems to happen. And then you sit here for ages thinking, where's the rest of my movie, because you're still in layer mode. So you have to go back to viewer, and there we go, we're back to normal. So if we just do that, nothing seems to be happening, as you can see, because all we've done is assign tracking data to an invisible point. Okay, so now comes the fun bit. So now we do a new grade, so it's new grade, and we're going to stick in, and we're going to call it knob light, and we're going to stick in our, oh, that's not used to light, flare. What did we use again now? Sun glare. Right. Now I don't need to move it or anything. This is the thing, because all I need to do now is take, obviously that's its hotspot position, right? And it's in default at the moment. It's just stuck at the middle of the screen. Oh, we're skipped, or wherever it wants to put it. And all I need to do is go to the hotspot position and tell it to use as its hotspot position. I can either manually animate it or just tell it to use knob track. And magically it jumps over there because it's using the tracking point for where it should be. Now at the moment it's off, as you can see. It's not, see, it does track at one point, but it's way off. The reason it does that is because the center is way off, because the center is relative to the screen when we brought it in, but now we're tracking it to a data point, so we need it to be 0. We don't want it to be offset anywhere, we want it to be 0, 0. And there you go, it now sticks to there. So we remove the thing across, there you go, it's now stuck to the gear knob. See, dead easy. Relatively speaking. And then all you need to do is you go in and then you fix your gear knob, and you just bring intensity up, bring that down, there you go. So when you track across, obviously it's on the second part we're tracking, and then there you go. And you've got your gear highlight, just as easy as it. As easy as that. It's pretty straightforward. And you can attach, the reason why they do it that way, incidentally, is because that point, that data point, right, I can attach a million things to it, literally a million things. When you see, and some people make films in this, and they'll have like, you know, like a spaceship flying through, and it's got, you know, engines on it and lights on it, all kinds of stuff on it, and all it is just a whole bunch of effects stuck to one data point. That's all they do. They just track it to that one data point. So all you need to, so if you want to animate an entire spaceship, all you do is you animate that one tracking point, right? And you just move it about the place, or track it, and it'll move, and it can move everything. So it's tracking. Data points are great things as well if you're using 3D, if you've got a Hitfilm Pro, but again, it's a different tutorial. I might do something like that where I do the more kind of advanced stuff that Pro can do, but I'm not 100% confident in that myself. I've used some of it, but it gets complicated. It really does. Oh yeah, the other things that we need to do on this shot were we need new grid again. Another thing is with the point light, I always stick to the bottom and just turn off the visible. You don't see it. I mean, it's an invisible point. You ignore it. It's kind of like the depth pass. You don't. It needs to be there, but you don't need to see it or anything. And final one we're going to do here again. We're going to, I think. Oh yeah. This whole thing is a bit sharp looking. It's just because the nature of movies again, and of course she's moving her head about, you know, and it's like, so we could get away here with a bit of blur, and specifically a diffuse blur, which, as you can see, softens it up. That's a bit heavy. We'll go. Let's just go. Yeah, soften or a bit of salt. Yeah, salt should do. You can obviously tweak that yourself, but all that's doing is, again, you can see it just kind of helps to soften up edges and stuff. You can adjust all this kind of stuff. It does take a little bit of adjusting this one to make it look good, but get it. If I can get it to work. You get what I mean here. It's like I can't remember. I'll look at my finished shot, see what the settings were. Yeah, you can use that to soften it up a wee bit, and again, to finish off the shot, obviously that's crap because that's way too high. To finish off the shot, in that one I'll go glow, because I always do. And again, that's because it's supposed to be a really bright sunny day. Excuse me, yeah. And again, these bits here, it's nice to get them, you know, to kind of have that kind of glow. You could as well, if it's too much, you know, the seats are too much, again, just mask off those bits, and just mask off those bits and turn the glow down on them, or exclude them from the glow altogether because they're inside the car, and you know, just play about with it and get the effect. I mean, the person watching your film doesn't know that you did all this. They don't care. They just don't give a toss. And of course, this looks terrible. And then of course, on top of all that, what do? You stick in your LUT, which again brings the colours all together, makes it more compatible, and there you go. So that's essentially what I'm getting at. Now that is crap. So let me show you what I actually did. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's what I actually did. So it was a bit more. You see a lot of. I overexposed it to that point because you only see that briefly. Yeah, so you get the idea of the kind of very bright sunshine coming in through the window, hitting that, and it just makes it look a bit more convincing than when you have all that turned off, where it looks a bit weak. And there you go. That's it. Well, it took an hour and a half rather than an hour, but there you go. I managed to get through all 6. Excellent. Yeah, so to get all 3 all 6. And there you go. That is what I wanted to show you. Do we have any questions in the chat over here, guys? About anything in Hitfilmish? Or anything like that? Or anything you'd like to see tutorials about if you're not sure, because obviously I know how to use some of the particle effects, I know how to use some of the fancier sort of stuff, and I've experimented. Obviously I do the caustics as well, where I can make the water, which is fake, for my shots. I should have actually prepared one of those actually, but I think I didn't want to confuse anybody by showing them all that kind of stuff. But there's all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff you can do with the fractals as well. It's like there's so much stuff in there, and that's just in the free version. Remember, I've done I think nothing as far as I remember. Well, maybe the Flickr one. Everything in here, that's just Hitfilm Express. There's nothing fancy about that. That's not. Yeah, it would be good to hear. It'd be nice just to have a kind of dictionary of what all these things do, and kind of recommended settings or recommended examples of why you would use them. I mean, a lot of these things I've just found out by accident, like by well, not so much by accident, but I've seen them for other things, like the light wrap. I seen the light wrap on Hitfilm's own tutorial about doing green screen, and it was a guy sitting in a car with a green screen, and they put a background behind him of, you know, countryside going by, and then they put the light wrap on it, and it just boom, it just sold it. You know, I mean, it just, that line between the outside and inside just got merged, and it just sold it as one shot. You know, even though I knew it was fake, I knew it was green screen, and I'm like, yeah, that looks so good. And when you can fake yourself, you know you're getting somewhere. You know, I mean, you start to think, yeah, I can see how that's starting to work. But all I'm trying to get at here, I suppose, is that this is a finishing school for your shots, Hitfilm, or After Effects. It's the same thing, obviously. They do After Effects, do the same thing, and Vegas, obviously, probably with their newest version, does the same thing. But do this to your shots first, then take it into the editor, then edit it. But do this first. Go through every single shot. Freelance. See, I don't know. I can't remember where I got mine. I think I just googled freelance. It just came up. I'm gonna try that. Free. That's. There's 36 free. There's another few that's free. There's free cinema. Was that the one with the 7 of them? I think it was that one I got. Yeah. I should jump back to there so I can see. Was it this one? Yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah, it was the one with 8 in it. Yeah, this one's the one with the Matrix in it and stuff. There's one in here called Bob Ford, which is awesome. I just love it. I used it in my other shots where I'm, being a bit more grungy. I use Bob Ford, which is a great bloody lot, I have to say. Well, you don't install them anywhere. No, you just have them sitting on your hard drive somewhere because I'll show you. When you open up a lot, or when you apply a lot, nothing happens. You have to open up the thing here and then add the cube file. And the cube file is wherever you have your LUTs saved. You know what I mean? So I've got a whole bunch of them here. And these ones I thought were really good. What are they called again? They were called Apocalypse Very Moment. Bob Ford, that's it. That is awesome. I love Bob Ford. It's a brilliant look. Tree, give it a life-giving tree. Saving print and the matrices, which I showed you. But that one there, Bob Ford, that is just, oh man, it's so grungy. Love it. Never turn that off. No, they don't need to be installed anywhere. They can just be sitting on your hard drive. I mean, I put them in next to my comp shots just for convenience, but they can be sitting anywhere you like. It does not matter. There's Bob Ford, and it gives you that kind of. It's meant for like westerns and stuff like that, so it gives you that kind of saturated Sergio Leone sort of look, and I just love it. Obviously, it's completely inappropriate for this, a completely different vibe, but that just shows you. I mean, that makes it more like an evening shot, just by adding that. Just you can get fake nighttime, you can get all kinds of weird effects, and you can combine LUTs. Obviously, what a lot of people do, I've seen, is they'll have a lot, yeah, but they'll have like 10 of them, and they'll have all these different effects, and they'll layer them and get all these just amazing sort of stuff you can get, effects. But yeah, I would recommend always use a LUT on every single shot, because it just means that every single shot's got the same colour grades, or every single shot in every section. Because I'm dealing with, I've got flashback, so half of my film takes place in the 70s, the other half takes place in the 80s. So all the 70s stuff is shot in Kodachrome LUT, and all the modern stuff is all shot with the Bob Ford LUT, because it's grimy and horrible. I mean, so that gives me a stylistic distinction between the two halves of the film, without me having to really change anything in movies. I didn't have to change the source. I just lit it the normal way that I would light it, and I make the kind of stylistic choices later on. And this is what I think people don't understand, is that they try to do everything inside iCloud or inside MovieZoo, and you can do that obviously to a certain extent, but you're making it hard for yourself. Just create the basic shot, get the shot right. Don't worry about things that you can fix, and then get it to Hitfilm and then fix it and make it look nice and shine it up and just get it nice and shiny, nice and flary, and all this kind of stuff, and then edit it, because that is what directing is. Directing is editing. This stuff here is just the technical fixing of stuff. It was Saving Private Damon, like that's the World War II sort of look, so it's very desaturated and cold. I think the B-Boys 2 one was a kind of, it's very God, very teal coloured. Anybody? So it's very kind of modern movies. Every modern movie ever, green tinge and everything. Horrible. I don't like it myself. But some people might like that look, and that's the thing, you can change the entire look of your movie by using a lot. When I decided to change over to Hitfilm, first thing I did was I took about 2 days going through various shots in my various locations and experimenting with the LUTs to find the one or two basically that I was going to use for the 2 different time periods, so that I knew I could use them consistently and I wouldn't have to change it too much. And that kind of worked out quite well. Again, the audience isn't aware of any of this crap, so it's only us, the poor buggers that are making it, that have to go through all this. But it does make a difference, it really does, and I can recommend it heartily. So yeah, do that, absolutely do that. Use LUTs. So anything else? Anything else about the structures or composites or the wonderful world of effects? God, we've got a lot of effects in here, haven't we? Gosh, I mean, look at them. Yeah. The heat distortion one's a nice one. I think that's in thingy now. I think that's in Express. Yeah, because yeah, when I did the reverse of that shot, the outside the prison shot, I had the heat diffusion, or the heat distortion effect rising off the lights. Again, it took me ages to do it, but it only clips the edge of one guy's head. It's like it's just this tiny, tiny little distortion of the heat, but it has to be there, you know, because it's like it's supposed to be a cold night and these are hot lights. I know how hot these lights get. If you've ever been in a film set, you know how hot they get. You don't want to be anywhere near them. So anyway, that is well, I think that's us then. I think I can call the stream quits there, and I hope I have informed people and helped you learn more about what you can do with this thing, and basically how cool it is, because it is very, very cool. And just wait for the chat to catch up just in case. No, oh, okay then. I shall speak to you all later. I shall probably try and do another stream about the more advanced stuff. I'll try and work out something. This took a lot of homework to get this sorted in the first place, so it might take a wee while before I do one, but I will try and do one again. So thanks for listening, and good night. Oh, a second. Sorry, stop. How you doing, man? Oh, Jeff, how you doing? Yeah, LUTs. Like I say, LUTs. They are cool. You've got to use your LUTs. It's just one effect, and it changes all the colours of your scene instantly, and immediately can change the mood and look of everything. So I recommend them, definitely. Saves you a lot of hassle, because otherwise what they do, your professional types. Sorry, I know I was going, but just to explain. When they do it, they go through and they do all this stuff. I mean, all this colour grading. I mean, look at all this stuff. Yeah, yep. You just go collecting them on the internet. You can buy them, you can download them for free. Like, say the ones I've got are all just free ones you can download. And the main thing to remember is you never use them at 100%. You put them on their own layer, and then you just adjust them to give you the effect you're after. And then it helps to use them across your shots. And try not to mix, one shot has got a different look completely to the next shot kind of thing, unless that's a very stylistic choice you're going for. It's best to keep them consistent, or try and find one that works for your movie as a whole, and then use that for the whole movie, or for whole sections, So your nighttime scenes would have one LUT, your daytime would have a different one, your indoor ones would have a different one. You can do that kind of thing as well. Again, you can get into it as complicated as you like. Hitfilm gives you too many options for colour grading. I mean, look at all this stuff. There's so much stuff in here that you can do, and the LUT can do 4 or 5 of these combined just with one effect, and that's the power of them. That's why a lot of people use them, just for speed as well. You bang it on, you put it up, especially if you know them, because that's what I found as well. It does help if you know them. Just sit there and go through every single one until you find one. I mean, that's the nighttime scene. You think, well, I'm using that, but what could something look better? I don't know. I've got these free ones here. I've got these ones here that are got a basin that's bolder. So these are all outdoor ones. Let's try Seattle. Right, I'll go for Seattle then. See how that looks. And again, it's turned down at the moment to a low value, so I'm going to just turn it up to full, and you can see, well, that's actually quite nice. And you can turn it on and off to see what the effect is. I mean, that one just more or less kind of darkens it, really. It doesn't shift the colours too much, because it is an outdoor one. I think most of these would be more like daytime colour ones. So again, you do a moonrise, there you go. That should be appropriate, you would have thought. Let's see. Oh, turn it back on. Oof. So, I mean, you can really change the look of your shot completely. I mean, that's a 60s psychedelic party going on there. Oh, man. Or, I mean, you could have a use for it to be that colourful. I mean, you know, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's up to you. It's your film. You can do what you like. But the other advantage of using a lot is if you've got lots of effects underneath it, using that helps to tie them all together, because it kind of, you know, it removes the distinction between the effect and the background, and it merges everything and flattens everything down in sense of colours, and it makes it much harder to spot the joins essentially between your effects and your masks and everything else. So yeah, just stick it on its own layer and then just play with your LUTs and just try different ones that you download, and you'll find ones that you like and just take a note. No, the LUTs. No, the LUT is a... Oh, sorry, I'll bring that across. That's a good question. The LUTs are not particular. They are a standard cube file, because that's what they always are. And you can use them in iClone, you can use them in Hitfilm, you can use them in After Effects, you can use them in Fusion. I mean, just they're a standard sort of movie thing, because they come from cameras originally. You know, digital cameras are, you know, proper, you know, movie cameras and stuff like that. And that's why they're called LUTs. I think it's something to do with camera technology. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just go find. I mean, you'll have an After effect called LUT, I'm sure, or a socket or so, you know, something that you can plug a LUT into your shot with. So just plug it in and play with them, because like you see, you can completely radically mess with your shot so easily. Apocalypse Now. What's Apocalypse Now? That's better. Yeah, it just. I would say that's a much more sepia sort of thing. That would work again. That would work for a western. I think that would be a nice one. I think that would work better in a daytime one. I think it's a daytime one. Let's try to do our very first shot. Let's just try. Let's try Apocalypse. Ooh. Yeah, there you go. See, I mean, that's. And if you were trying to make some sort of film noir or some sort of, you know, trying to make it. I can't tell you what to make. I'm just saying, you can do a lot with just that one effect, and you can completely change the mood of your shot. And again, look what it's doing to the colours. You see it right there, especially. Again, that's the problem with all digital stuff I find, whether it's iClone or movies or whatever it is this, you know, he's flat. There's no depth there between the two of them. Even if you add depth of field, which this does have, it doesn't stick out so much. But when you add a lot, for some reason it helps to bring out the shadows, and it brings out the depth in your shot. You know? It just does. I don't know why. It's just a great effect. Well, the names are. The names that they've got on them are intended to describe a colour shift. So a lot of them just have kind of esoteric names. So you're better off just renaming them yourself to something that makes sense to you. I find, or just memorise them, or else take a standard image that you've got, apply it to it 100%. You know, then take a screen grab and then make a wee library of them or something like that. It's up to you. I mean, like I say, there are lots of free ones out there. So I would just go experiment and just have a wee look and see what you can find, because you can see there that the kind of effects you can get. That's the before and after. You know, you're just basically shifting your colour range. You see it on the path there, especially. The difference it's going to make. Look at the sky there and the green there. It can take a dull, sort of lifeless digital photograph, which most of them are, to be honest, and stuff that is generated digitally tends to be kind of dull and flat. And then you add this and it just makes it pop. It just pulls it out of itself, if you know what I mean. You know? And I guess a subtle effect. Sometimes it's very subtle, and the user won't. The viewer won't even notice it necessarily. Yeah, I mean you can download to a lot of stuff. You can subscribe to a lot of these places like Film Riot and Action VFX. People like that, they give away free stuff like that as well, free LUTs and all kinds of groovy stuff. So yeah, subscribe to stuff. Yeah, get stuff like that. That's actually nice. I have to say that is a nice. That's nice. That I think I did consider that one originally because I did like that look, but it was a bit too yellow for me. It's a bit too sepia because this is the more modern one. This is the 80s, and the old stuff was 70s. I didn't want this to look older than the older stuff, if you know what I mean, from back in the 70s. So yeah, so that's you have fun with it. That's the other thing. Just mess with it. Remember, you've got an undo button. Nothing happens until you save it, so just keep on messing with it until you get it looking reasonable. What have I done to this pure shot? I've ruined it. Dear. Anyway, I shall go. I've been on for 2 hours now and my throat's starting to go, so this bloody thing. So goodbye, serious dog. Yeah. Goodbye, serious dog, Patrick Marr, Rodney Bertie, and anybody else who may have popped in but not said hello. Hello. Oh crap, come on. Mouse do that. What? Sorry. My mouse is having a little fit there. Oh yeah, Tony as well. Hey Tony. Yeah, I forgot you'd be popping in now as you're going in. Yeah. I knew there was somebody else. Don't forget. So, I shall speak to you all later, and good. No problem. Good night.